This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's got the left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning. Welcome to Ken and wait for it, a mobile Ken in the morning. Good morning, Mitch. Oh my goodness, if you're on the roads in upstate New York, get off the sidewalks. Ken's driving.
Get off the sidewalk and get off the fucking road, especially this jackass in front of me. I feel like I gotta go full fucking Woody.
Never go full Wooly. So, be careful, Ken's driving. Good thing you're off the road already, so you're safe.
So Kitty Ken's on the road again, huh?
Yeah. Hey, knock it off there, T-Move Joe.
Ken had to drop off his kitty at work.
Uh-huh. She needs to hurry. Well, she doesn't need to. The shop needs to hurry up and fix her fucking transmission.
Yeah, I don't have those problems anymore.
Yeah.
It's amazing what electric does. You no longer have transmission issues. So quiet day in the NFL yesterday. Nothing really major coming out of the North or the East or the West or the South. But I had a question because of our discussion we were having yesterday. You know, when we looked at that really bad playoff prediction posted, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. Is the NFC East better than the NFC North? That's the question for today. Now, I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to say because, let's face it, we may be a little biased towards the NFC North. Maybe just a little tiny little weeny bit. But Joe isn't. So, Joe, which is better, the NFC East or the NFC North?
I'm going to say the NFC North.
So
because I have no faith in the Cowboys at all. And I think the Giants are still an off-season away, at least, from being a competitive team. So you really only have two good, decent to good teams in the East, you know. Whereas in the North, you have the Vikings, the Packers, and the Lions, who are all kind of, they're considered good teams right now, and then the Bears are a question mark, but I expect the Bears to be a lot better this year. So there's potential for all four of them to be good. You know, varying levels of good, you know.
So, like, I mean, the East, obviously you've got the world champs obviously sitting in the East right now with Philadelphia, which makes Woody so happy, as we all know. Then I look at the Commanders, overachieved last year. I still think they're a good football team, but they overachieved. So, I mean, the preseason hype on them, they're going to be way up there in the preseason rankings because, well, he went to an NFC Championship game. So, okay, you get to be ranked high coming into week one. Got it. Their offseason was actually pretty good, I think. I think that the Redskins understood that they overachieved with a less than optimal roster, just guys who had great years. And they all came together. They caught lightning in a bottle, and they understood that. And when it came to free agency, they spent accordingly to try to, maintain the level, if you will. Like, they overachieved. They knew it, and they took the steps to try to stay at that level. I would say they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team, but they're a good team. Yeah, Dallas, I don't know what to think of Dallas. Like, I don't have faith. They got some big players on there with big contracts, but I have no faith in Dallas. Dallas will find a way, like the Bears did last year, to lose when it counts. I just don't.
I was going to say, you didn't even have to reference the Bears. The Cowboys do enough job of losing when it counts anyway.
It's more like the Bears were imitating the Cowboys last year, right, on a grand scale than the other way around. We just decided, we'll get it all done in one season. We're good for the next decade. And then the Giants, I kind of agree with you, Joe. I think they're an off-season away. I mean, people forget they did add Russ to the quarterback room, which does give them a legitimate passer. Like, I know we give Russ crap, but he's a legitimate passer. He's a legitimate quarterback. Yeah, he's a prima donna. Yeah, he's a drama queen. But he is a legitimate quarterback.
He's a legitimate quarterback for 3 games.
If he stays healthy, though, he's got a really good defense. Neighbors. I think they're a wide receiver away, a running back away, and some other small pieces. They've got a really good defensive front, but if that offense can't click and they spend a lot of time on the field, like we saw with the Bears last year, that defense will wear down by the end of the year. By week 9, 10, you're going to start to see the signs of the fatigue of being on the field too damn much. So if that offense isn't sustaining drives, they don't have to score. They just have to be able to keep the defense off the field for a good 9 to 15 plays. Like, at least give us a driver. If you peter out, fine, whatever. But no, you can't be 3 and out, because we know that doesn't work for defenses. So they're a little bit away, but I think when we play NFC North versus NFC East, I see a lot of really close, good football games this year. The NFL has got to be drooling at that schedule. Oh, looks like Ken frozen. The NFL has got to be really liking the schedule that linked up this way, that the East and the North are playing each other as both divisions are getting good, right? And then to top it off, the NFC North gets the AFC North, which is another really good division.
I think the NFC North battle is going to be a hell of a lot closer than the NFC East battle.
Well, I mean, no, Joe, I think the AFC North is better than the NFC East. Would that be a fair assessment?
I mean, yeah, but the NFC, or I mean, the AFC North has question marks too. You know, like the Bengals offense we know is going to be good, but their defense is going to be trash. So it's going to be Joe Burrow trying to drag them into the playoffs. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase trying to drag them into the playoffs. And Cleveland is a huge question mark because I know we clowned on Shador for falling to the 5th round, but I got to be honest. I think there's a decent chance he's starting by the middle, not even the middle of the season. And I'm intrigued. Like, you know, I'm intrigued. I wonder if he, because their roster overall isn't terrible. Like they have a pretty good tight end. Their running back situation, I didn't see who they got, if they got one in the draft, but the running back situation they lost, so they needed a running back. Their defense is pretty, has some stars on it. Like, I don't know. The receiver, they're kind of average.
Yeah, because Jerry Jeudy, their only fucking real receiver there. And that's a big stretch calling him a real receiver.
I was just going to say, like, if we're calling Jerry Jeudy a real receiver now, like.
That was kind of my whole point of it.
But you know what, though? I'm with Joe, though. Cleveland intrigues me because their defense is going to be good. They've got a defensive line that's like New York Giants. They have a really good defensive line. They got a pretty good defense. Their quarterback situation, kind of like New York, is somewhat questionable, but like Shador has. I think this might be a bad take. I don't know, but I think Cleveland won the draft. Not because they got Shador in the 5th and they still got a blue chip in the 1st with that trade, but because now next year they got 2 firsts. Like they saw this year's draft as being a bunch of solid guys that weren't really worth a bunch of high picks, and they still got, even if their plan was always to take Shador, dude, they traded out of number 2, got a haul, and then still got Shador in the 5th. So,
and didn't they get Mason Graham with the number 5 overall pick?
Yeah, I believe that's who they took. I mean, they won the draft, in my estimation, because of what they were. Look, they took a crappy draft that we were saying, like, there's no one you want to trade up for in this draft, and yet they pulled off a blockbuster that gave them a ton of capital for next year. And they're an intriguing team because they've got a defense. Look, they've got the old man in the quarterback room. They got Shador. They got some other. I mean, it doesn't look sexy today on paper, but functionally, they could be a really good football team this year.
Yeah, I think if Shador ends up playing, I don't think he'll have to be a superstar. He just they'll just run the ball, play good defense, and he just has to game manage. If he can game and if Shador can game manage, and the one thing that he was touted for was like his accuracy, right? Which is a good thing. Like he doesn't. They were shitting on his arm strength and shitting on he holds the ball too long and this and that, but like nobody said he couldn't throw an accurate ball. So, to me, it's Browns, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the Browns definitely made some interesting draft picks. They drafted Judkins, the running back from Ohio State, in the 2nd round, and they drafted another running back, Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, in the 4th round. They also drafted that Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end from Bowling Green, in the 3rd round. So they have 2 really good pass catching tight ends, a couple of what seem to be capable young running backs. They have that. What is it? Is it Xavier Tillman or something like that at wide receiver? And they have Judy. So yeah, their wide receiver room is definitely not good. Drafted Mason Graham. I like that linebacker they drafted out of UCLA in the 2nd round as well.
Yeah, they got Schlesinger too, dude.
Yeah, that was a good pick. And then, honestly, I just don't like it's not a problem that they went quarterback. It's just I honestly don't like either of their quarterback picks. But other than that, I would say that it looks like they had a pretty solid draft.
I mean, because think about it. Take it a step further. Let's say Shador pans out. And here's the cool thing. By taking Shador in the 5th, they don't have to – they're not going to have to hear the you need to start the kid now stuff. He's a 5th-round quarterback. They're like, this kid's a 5th-round quarterback. He needs time. They buy Shador time. And they buy a whole season or 2 if they really want. He's a 5th-round pick. Yeah, but he's a 5th-round pick. They got some room to play. Next year, they got 2 high draft picks, which is supposed to be a better quarterback draft. Maybe that puts them in place now to make moves to get the quarterback they want, or if they just happen to land where in the right spot to get the quarterback they want. They won the draft as far as they're set up pretty nice for this year. They're going to be a competitive team. They got a good defense. Next year, they got the tools. If Shador isn't the quarterback, they can get the quarterback. They can get the receivers they need. They can pick up more running backs if the running backs they drafted don't work out. They've got pieces to move. Don't sleep on Cleveland in the NFC North or the AFC North. The AFC North, and really in that division, to be honest with you, I could see them not finishing last in that division.
They already had a good linebacker in JOK, and then they just added Schlesinger, who was considered the best linebacker in this draft, or at least one of the top 2 linebackers in this draft.
Yeah, good defense.
Like, And I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Like, I know Shador's a 5th round pick or whatever, but I think he's going to climb the depth chart before, like, I think he's going to hop over Dylan Gabriel during training camp, and he'll probably be backing up Flacco for the first, or who is it Flacco that they're starting?
Flacco is going to be their starter. Yeah.
They have Flacco and they have Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, so it's either going to be he's going to be battling it out with Kenny Pickett, and I don't know, man. Like, you know, I think we know what Kenny Pickett is at this point, but we don't know what Shador is. So, like, I could see him climbing the depth chart before the season even starts.
Sorry about that. I had to stop. I almost had a kitty cat invasion. It's all because of kitty cat Ken. I had 3 cats try to invade the sanctuary here, so I had to remove.
And then they got Judkins and Sampson. Like, Judkins is a good back. Like, I think that was a good pick for them. So
Yeah.
I expect them to run the ball and play good defense, and that should keep them competitive.
And honestly, Fannon's almost more like a wide receiver than a tight end.
I think they won the draft, guys, and I think, like, when you look at the schedule that NFC North has, the NFC East, you know, Broski, we covered them just before you got on. You know, we asked, are they better than the North? And we broke the teams down very quickly. And you know, probably they're not, but it's going to be 4 good games for each NFC North team. The NFC East is not going to be a pushover, right? And then we get the AFC North. And once again, 4 super solid games there. I don't see any of those games being pushovers.
Yeah, I would definitely consider the NFC East better than the AFC North, though, this year. I mean, if you just look at the quarterbacks team by team, I mean, the Steelers are going to be starting a 5th round pick. The Browns might be starting a 5th round pick. And then you have Lamar and Joe Burrow. But in the East, you got, you got Hurts, you got Jane Daniels, you got Russell, and you got Dak starting. So, I mean, that's a little more established quartet, I would say. However, both divisions extremely tough. I mean, you're splitting hairs most likely. So, yeah, it doesn't make for an easy schedule playing both of them. That's for sure.
I mean, look, Dak doesn't scare me because Dak finds a way to lose. Dak does stupid.
Yeah, but Dak's a lot better than Shador or you know what I mean, like a rookie quarterback starting this year for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if the rumor mill is true. Pittsburgh could have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, but you know, he's not Aaron Rodgers of old, but he's still capable.
Better than most of the quarterbacks in the league. Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, he's still capable. Like, Russ is capable with the Giants, but he doesn't really. I don't fear him. You know.
Yeah, Sarah, I mean, I gotta say, like, it's so funny how, like, I just love the draft so much. I keep researching players and stuff, like, as soon as the season ends, like, past the draft, and it's like I kind of warmed up to Cam Ward a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be the best quarterback in this class, but I'm not saying he's going to be Jameis Winston either. I think he'll be pretty solid. But yeah, Hunter, man, the more I'm looking at him, I'm like, he could just be a complete bust. Like, dude, he's not he's not a polished wide receiver. He doesn't know how to run routes. He doesn't know how to, like, he didn't play good defenses in college. And, like, cornerback, it's like, dude, if he had any brains and if Jacksonville had any brains, you have him focus on cornerback and cornerback alone. And then, you know, if you want to run a package where he gets a couple bubble screens or jet sweeps or something like that on offense, okay. But, dude, I would not be wasting his time putting him with the wide receiver room in practice.
If I'm Jacksonville, Broski, that's probably what they're doing, because it's like Devin Hester back in the day for us. The second he steps on the field on offensive play, people notice, and now they have to account for him. And, you know, if they don't account for him and Jacksonville throws in the ball and he turns it into a play, even one time early on, now it becomes a thing. Every time he steps on the field, he becomes a disruptor without even touching the ball. I mean, I think they need to concentrate him on corner, but from a strategic standpoint, you can make the kid happy by putting him on the field for offense for a few plays, and
Yeah, but that's one of my big criticisms about Lovie Smith, and that's where a coach needs to step in and be a coach. It's not about appeasing the player. Like, I think, you know what I mean? Devin Hester was a terrible wide receiver. He could have been a Pro Bowl cornerback if he focused on cornerback. So that was a terrible call by Lovie.
That's a terrible. I hate to say it. That's a terrible comparison because they didn't play him at corner either. They ran him out.
No, he did. He played corner his first year on the Bears. Yeah, he did. And then they converted him to wide receiver.
But the thing is like with this kid, he's not doing kickoffs and punt returns. They're going to focus him on. I think they're going to focus him on corner. But like even when you threw Hester out there, he became a disruptor to defenses because they would have to account for his flash ability, right? I think the same thing is true with Travis Hunter. You're not appeasing the player. You're putting him out there not to appease the player, and that's where I disagree with you. They're not trying to appease him. They're using it as a tactical advantage on offense to open up other people because when he goes out there now, he disrupts the defense. And if they don't pay attention to him, they just complete a nice little easy throw to him, and I would say he breaks it for 20, 30 yards. Then it's like, crap, we do have to watch this kid. And now he's on the field, and now he's drawing coverages that's going to take away from other people and open up. That's how they'll use him as a tactical distraction. I don't think that they're going to focus this kid too much on offense. I think they're going to focus him, if they're smart, on corner. But they're going to throw him out there for a few plays because they're going to make teams account.
Come on. I do got to say, though, if you're Jacksonville, after what you just gave up to get Hunter, and now he's struggling to run routes in OTAs, you got to be a little bit worried, dude. You got to be like,
I agree. That's the other reason
I mean,
for a couple plays. I throw him out. Look, I let people go, we don't have to account for him. He's struggling with routes. Cool. Let me throw him out there, put him on a simple screen, let it be a 10, 20-yard completion. And now, he's going to go just play quarterback. Now I'm going to pull him back out there in the fourth quarter in a tight game. And he's like, oh, shit. Okay, it's going to him. It's going to him. And they're going to focus on him. That's going to leave something open for NTN or whoever else they're going to put the ball to. But he becomes a distractor for defensive coordinators. They're not going to put him out there because he's a true legit weapon. They'll put him out there just because he's a distractor. Because like you said, OTAs, he's struggling with routes. The guy needs to be a corner. Everyone's feeling the same way. Cool. I'm going to throw him out there, do a simple screen that no one's going to pay attention to him on. And now he turns a simple screen and a 20 or 30-yard completion. Now it's like, well, crap, maybe we were wrong. We have to atone for this kid. And they put them out there. It's a fourth quarter situation. They're driving. Maybe it's a big third down. You throw them out there. They're like, okay, it's going to him. They're going to focus on him. That's going to open up the other guy. It's a tactical thing. It's not a ability thing in that case. It's more of a tactical move. And it's a smart tactical move that now I wouldn't use it all the time. You can't. I mean, it's going to play itself out, but it's going to have its times where they can use it.
Maybe so,
yeah,
but I still think Jacksonville made a mistake trading that much draft capital for him. Like, no corner. I don't care how good he is at receiver too. No corner is worth trading that much draft capital for.
Oh no, I agree with you. But that's why Cleveland wins the draft, right? That's why Cleveland wins the draft. I mean, everyone's like, after draft night, you got all the big hot takes on ESPN and NFL Network, and NFL Network's a joke anyways because according to them, everyone's winning 15 games according to NFL Network. Everyone's talking about all these other things. Like the Browns won this draft. They picked up function, like everyone else did. They picked up more draft capital for next year, which is supposed to be a much better draft than this year was. And they haven't overhyped their team with their selections. They've kept it in a place where their fans aren't going to be expecting the moon. They're expecting to be better. They tempered expectations of their fan base, and they won the draft.
Yeah, it's just going to be tough for Travis Hunter to be a threat to other teams, or for other teams to view him as such a threat if they know he can't run a route. So, I mean, if it's run straight, Travis will throw you the ball deep. I mean, okay, but, and hey, Travis is in the game. Maybe they're going to do a jet sweep. Got it. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm very
It's the
I don't know, man.
It's just the fact. I mean, look at everything you're saying is the exact reason why they're going to do it. Because like you're sort of having these doubts about the kid. Oh, he can't run around. He's not going to be a threat. He's not even worth paying attention to. So they make him worth paying attention to for one play early on. Now you're like, crap. We do have to pay attention to this. They threw a long ball and he just ran straight down the field and caught it. Whatever. Now you've got to put bodies on him. And now that takes bodies.
I was going to say at that point, you just put your third or fourth corner on him. Tell him, all right, lock him down. Don't worry about it.
Well, but one thing Hunter is dynamic with the ball in his hands. So I could see using like jet sweeps and also like fake jet sweeps, like where the quarterback fakes the handoff and it pulls the defense, it sucks the defense to that side, and then he can throw like a backside route to either a running back or a tight end. Like you can use Hunter to, the fear of Hunter getting the ball in his hands to get other guys open in the short game,
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the tact. I think it's the tact that they'll take with him. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with Broski's assessment of him as a receiver, but he's got more value than just saying he's a receiver. He's got that advantage of being able to suck defenses in. Like J-Mo, let's look at J-Mo. He's not a great receiver, right? J-Mo has not been a great receiver, but he comes up with a good catch every now and then, right? Which, of course, makes guys like Mitch go, look, this guy's really good. Well, a good catch now and then, no. But what he does do is, like, you put the ball in his hand, he's fast. Jet sweeps last year were his bread and butter. Every time I was a jet sweep to J-Mo, did it go for less than 10 yards? I don't think so. I think he broke every single one of them for at least 10 yards. So now you got the fear of J-Mo having the ball in his hand. And I think there's some of that carries through on this other argument. It's going to be interesting to see how they use them. I think Jacksonville is still a little bit of a hot mess. I don't know if their new coaching solves their issues. I don't know if their quarterback is the quarterback they paid. They've got a good running back if he's healthy, because Etienne's good, but he hasn't been healthy the last year or so. They've got some pieces. They've got a good offensive line. People forget they have a good offensive line in Jacksonville. I just don't know if Jacksonville made the right. I don't think that they made the right move, to go up and get this kid. And Cleveland's gonna have a good draft pick because of it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that I don't think it's crazy to think that Jacksonville could finish bottom 10 in the league. So they gave up 2 top 10 draft picks for Hunter. Like, if that happens. So
the Price is right. Gary's birthday's today. Great. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's oh jeez. Okay. You gotta love the homerism we get on this show. Yeah, I don't know if he's special, but that's what we're saying, Mitch. I don't know. Like Broski's not convinced he's special playing both ways, and I think that the feel is he just needs to be a corner. I think that they can, like Joe said, though, the fear of the ball in his hands will create some situations, but I don't think he's going to be, putting up massive offensive numbers.
See, if I'm Jacksonville, I'm using them like they did Charles Woodson. You're a corner 99% of the time, and we'll put in a couple plays here and there for you.
Yeah, no, I agree, Ken. I don't think he should be getting a lot of snaps on offense, but I think you give him snaps early in the game, right? Like you give him a couple snaps early in the game, and maybe you get a big play out of him, like a jet sweep or a completion, so that when you put him in a game later in the field, he can be more of a decoy. You're not counting on him, but he can be a decoy that's going to suck defense. Yeah. That's where his intrinsic value is.
Yeah, well, you can't go to that well too often, because then they know, all right, you just got to pay attention to towards the beginning of the game. And then most of the time after that, he's just there as the decoy.
Well, but that's the beauty of it, though, because the guy's not like he's talentless. It's not like it's you or me out there running the route in our slow sub, a kid could walk faster than we run pace. It's now you get late in the game and they ignore him. Well, if you ignore him, then you're just going to give him the rock and he's going to run.
Yeah.
So they still have to.
I wonder.
Eventually, someone will slough off them. Like, well, he's just a distraction. He's not where the ball's going. And they're like, all right, well, guess what? We're going to put the ball in his hands now because you're not paying attention to him.
I wonder if they should use him kind of like how Green Bay used Ty Montgomery and that weird wide receiver running back hybrid. Since this guy's not the best route runner, this way you can still get him the ball.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it
they'll
also
use him a
seems
lot
like
on-
he'd be a natural to be a returner as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they try him at that at some point because, like you said, he's dynamic with the ball in his hand. I mean, that's another way to get the ball in his hand for sure.
Yeah, but that's another way to get him hurt too. I don't know if I want to use him in kick returns. Like, you're hoping this dude is going to be like a keystone piece of your franchise. Like, I don't know if I want to risk having to
But
be
the
a
way
kick
the kick
return.
returns are now, you're not like people aren't even like running full speed at you, so it's kind of different. But I hear your point.
Hey, Rob says Jacksonville is the Green Bay of Florida.
It's the Chicago Bears of Florida? Absolutely. You know what, Rob? I totally agree with you. That's quite the astute assessment.
I don't know. I saw Green. Broski, didn't you say that? See, look, it says Jacksonville's the Green Bay Packers of Florida, 5-win team. That's what I'd see. I don't know.
They haven't sniffed a Super Bowl. They ain't the Green Bay Packers of nothing.
I'll tell you what, the women are a lot more attractive in Jacksonville than they are in Green Bay. I'll tell you that.
That may be true, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Maybe we found the secret to why Green Bay's been so consistently good. Because
you don't have distractions off the field.
But football. Yeah, really nothing to focus on but football.
No distractions off the field.
But hey, you know what? With Hunter, I don't think they're just going to use him as a decoy. Like I don't think that strategy. I think you can do it, but you're going to have to throw him the ball to keep teams honest and to keep teams thinking that he's a threat. So I could see them sending him on a couple deep routes every game too. Like if he has a problem with running routes, fine, let's just run him in a straight line, like Broski said, and throw him the ball. Like even if he doesn't catch it. It's still he's fast enough. His speed is there. He's fast enough to take the top off, and that could open up underneath routes too, like in the middle of the field. So, like you don't really know, are they going to throw him the ball deep or are they just using him as a decoy? Like if they can throw him the ball deep a couple of times, 1 or 2 times a game, it's going to keep the defense honest. So,
Joe, it just sounds like you're making the argument the Packer fans made for MVS.
Well. I don't know. I think Hunter has a chance to be better than MVS.
Yeah, he better pray he does.
I think
offensively, but
Jacksonville's kind of like in a place where Carolina was a couple years ago, a little bit lost. Like for them, it starts when they draft their quarterback that their owner wants, not their staff. I think in Jacksonville they have a little identity issue down there, and they're trying to figure it out. I don't know plan is. Like you look at Jacksonville, like what is the plan in Jacksonville? It doesn't. They're not they've got a good offensive line. That much we know. And they kept most of their offensive line. They kept it intact. They for the most part, they've got some pieces there, but they're just kind of like to me they're more like Carolina. They're just kind of like you don't know what because like this year Carolina, I really don't know what to expect out of Carolina. I don't know what to expect out of Jacksonville. I mean, like Trevor Lawrence, they gave him this money, but Trevor Lawrence, in college, he was great. He was good his first year in Jacksonville. You kind of like the kid, but you kind of go, well, the kid's not really all that good, but he's actually not that bad. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they're like this quagmire team where I don't know. And then they do something like this and just makes you even further go, what is the deal with this franchise?
Yeah, I was going to say go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to throw out there that they're being coached by Liam Cohen, who was the offensive coordinator of the Bucs last year, and I think that could influence. It could make them a better team. Like I think Cohen is a smart offensive coordinator, and he'll find a way to put the ball in Hunter's hands in a clever way. So. I'm not picking them to go to the playoffs, but I think that their offense could be interesting and dynamic. But their defense also is lacking some star power,
Yeah, and I was going to say that while we were touching on the Panthers, They were also another team that, in my opinion, had a pretty darn good draft. They drafted like two, defensive or two edge rushers. They drafted Tet, with the 8th pick, and then they drafted Shador's teammate Jimmy Horn Jr. So they drafted two wide receivers. They drafted a safety, which they needed. They already had a really good offensive line, so their O line wasn't the issue. They drafted Trevor Etienne, the little running back, who I actually really liked. I actually think he could be better than his brother or whatever who plays on Jacksonville currently. So he'll be a nice complement to Chuba Hubbard. So yeah, they did some things. We'll see what that amounts to. But
and that's Jacksonville, though, is kind of like where – that's why I made the comparison, though, Bruce, because Jacksonville is kind of like where Carolina was about a year or so ago, right? And, like, the Hunter pick, it's a nice splash pick for their fan base. And I don't think he's mediocre at both, like Robert. It's like, the kids meet – because otherwise you don't go number 2 being a mediocre at both. I think the kid's a stud corner who's got capabilities that he can use offensively. But their makeup of the team and what they're trying to accomplish, they kind of seem like where Carolina last year didn't have that either. You're like, okay, Carolina's there, they should be better, but what are they? And I think that's more like what Jacksonville is. I think Carolina's going to be a much better team this year. And they're still not, they're not beating Tampa, they're not beating Atlanta, but they're going to be better. And they're going to make steps in the right direction. They could pull a surprise and get up to the second place. I don't think they can win that division. But I'm still not sold on a couple of their pieces. But Jacksonville to me is kind of like a weird, because we know they've got some talent on that team. Like, we've seen it recently, but it's just like, what are they? Like, that's the thing with Jacksonville. What are they? And maybe that's a good tactical advantage. No one knows what you are. You can surprise some people early in the season. Maybe that's their shtick. I don't know. Jacksonville is an interesting team, though, for me to watch this year. Jacksonville and Cleveland, two teams that are going to be interesting to watch, because Cleveland's a team that everyone thinks, that's a bye week. Oh, they got a really good defense, and they probably won this draft. I don't think they're an easy out, to be honest. Now you got Myles Garrett over there, killing quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not out on Trevor Lawrence either. I think he's got a ton of talent, man, and he's already had a couple of 4,000-yard passing seasons. So I mean, the guy's not a scrub.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Brusky, you're 100% right, though. He's not a scrub, but people kind of go, when people talk about Trevor Lawrence, it's usually not good.
Yeah, it's because he's so up and down. He's got a couple of 4,000-yard seasons, but he's also got a couple of seasons where his numbers are comparable to Daniel Jones.
But that's because you look at the talent around him. You can only do so much with no talent.
That's a part of it for sure. A big part.
They're an interesting team to watch. I just don't know what their identity is. And look at, Broski brings up a good point, though, with Trevor Lawrence. He's got skills, so you can make Hunter look better than what Hunter is offensively if they want to use him offensively. They're going to be an interesting team to watch. I think Cleveland's going to be an interesting team to watch. Freaking the Steelers are going to be, I don't know. The Steelers are going to be, you're going to watch them for one of two reasons. One, it's like, what are these guys? Like, who's their quarterback going to be? And two might be, I want to watch the train wreck.
Yeah,
if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go there and Mason Rudolph starts again in Pittsburgh, that's going to be must-see TV, especially when he goes to Cleveland for his fucking rematch with Myles Garrett.
I don't think Mason Rudolph is going to start. I think if they don't get Rodgers, it's going to be Will Howard.
Yeah, and I'm standing by it. I mean, I know Rodgers met with the Steelers. I know, it's a logical conclusion to think he could still land there. Dude, there's almost 0% chance he lands in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are not going to cater to him and bend over backwards for him, and that's essentially what Rodgers needs to happen for him to play somewhere. Yeah, I really just don't see him and Tomlin or him and the Steelers organization overall meshing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ken, can you send Woody the link since I'm driving?
Well, Woody doesn't have it. Yeah, I'll send it to him.
And that's
Woody
interesting
wants
because
to
it's
jump
like,
on and talk about the next Greg Olson, Colston Loveland. That's probably what he wants to jump on.
The next Craig Olson.
it's like where does Loveland or where does Rogers go then? I mean, there's nowhere left for him, dude.
Somewhere
Everything
in South
I'm still
America,
here.
into a dark cave where he goes to smoke the toad and then just, trip for 3 days straight in the dark.
He doesn't need to go to South America for all that. He can go to upstate New York. I got a camp right in Naples.
It's interesting though because I don't see Aaron Rodgers' career ending like that. Like I think he's too much of a competitor to let that be the narrative. Like, oh, nobody wanted him in his last year. Like, I think he'll kiss whoever's ass, or he'll do whatever. Maybe not kiss ass, but he'll do whatever he has to do to make up show appearances, like to do what he has to do to get on a roster. But I'm just like, I don't know where he can go at this point. If it's not the Steelers, like everybody else is kind of set.
Yeah, and I highly doubt that he would go out to New Orleans.
Yeah, and Bill T, I've been saying Will Howard is going to be the Steelers quarterback starting this year before he was even drafted by the Steelers, which I also predicted was going to happen. Yeah, Will Howard is going to be the Steelers week 1 starter.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're on the roadways in the Upper East Coast, we got Woody and Ken both on the road, so make sure you stay off the sidewalk.
Oh, absolutely. We got double guinea driving today.
Yepper. I want to get something clear, though. I heard the show yesterday with little Bill's mouth. Listen, when a team rests the starters, that means they don't play it the fuck all. They were all in last year, that last game. I don't want to fucking hear it. They played. I don't care if Josh Jacobs had I don't care if Jacobs had -1 carries. He was still in the game. I don't want to hear it. Fuck yous. So there you go. Fucking talk all this fucking smack when I'm not on. I got you.
Woody never has an opinion about anything.
So that's bullshit.
I don't know. That sounded like a pretty strong opinion to me.
Yeah, that was an opinion, all right. I heard the show yesterday. I couldn't get on yesterday. I was like, all right, motherfuckers. Yeah.
I'm guessing we're talking about that last Chicago Green Bay game.
Yeah. Oh, the only reason you guys won is because we rest our starters. Another, you the guys played. You took them out. You took them out, yeah, but they still fucking played. It's not preseason or the playoffs, and look how it worked for them. They won and done anyway, so it really worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose to the Chicago Bears, you're going to be so depressed you can't win a game.
Dude, hey, I know one thing. That hit that Byard put on Malik Willis was fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah,
that's Zach, dude. That hit was nasty. I was like, ooh.
All I know is
Malik Willis is a waste of time. I don't know why I hope the Packers keep him, actually.
If you're an NFC North fan, this is all I know for this year. If you're an NFC North fan, this game schedule with the NFC East and the AFC North, we're going to have good football games every weekend. Good football games every weekend. Not an easy out amongst them, except NOLA. NOLA might be the easy out for a lot of teams. But you look at this at the schedule across the board in the NFC North every week. They're good. And then like Pittsburgh may end up being a kind of okay, whatever game, but they still got TJ. The Browns, you're gonna look at and say, well, yeah, but they still got a defense. You're gonna look at the Giants, but they got a good defensive line. They got some things. Every one of these games is gonna be a good game. I don't see blowouts. I don't see. I see a lot of.
I don't know, man. Baltimore, I'm scared of fucking totally.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think there's some great games to be had, like Baltimore and the Packers, or Baltimore and the Lions. That was gonna be a good game. Like Steelers and the Bears. I think Steelers and the Bears will be a good one.
Yeah, I'm really glad the Bears get to play both Pennsylvania teams. Shit, man.
Yeah, Chubb is still on
Man,
the
that's going
radar.
to be rough for Woody. You're going to have two
Yeah, I'm gonna
losses
be-
to Pennsylvania teams.
2 losses, huh?
Well,
So if we have 2 losses against these teams, so will Green Bay.
No.
And what you
If we got a redo of Rodgers in Steel City, Jordan Love's going to get his vengeance.
Hey, what you got to remember, Packer fans, the logic they apply to your team does not apply to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're delusional.
I'm glad
delusional.
I'm glad you're finally learning, Ken.
Oh, I've always
Fucking
known.
delusional.
Yeah. There'll be some good games. Okay, there'll be games that, and here's a fun thing that happens every year. Games that you think we should win, we might lose. Games that you think we should lose, we might win. Like you look at Baltimore, which I agree with Woody, that game scares probably everyone's schedule a little bit. But you know, that's a game all of a sudden one or two of the North teams win. You're like, oh, wait a minute. You know, I mean, and then there's gonna be a game like the Browns, and they're gonna come up and they're gonna beat Minnesota or Detroit or someone. You're like, well, wait a minute. Those games are gonna happen with this schedule because these 3 divisions that we play, you know, ourselves, the East and the other North, not an easy out in any of those games.
Oh.
You know, and Mitch, this is such a crybaby BS argument. I'm sorry. I don't mean this on you, Mitch, but this strength of schedule BS at the beginning of the year doesn't mean jack. Don't talk to me about strength of schedule until about week 9 when we actually know what teams are.
I don't think he was talking about strength of schedule. I think he's just saying the Bears are the easiest out on the schedule.
What was that? What was that
saying.
comment? What was that comment with Bill T?
Where do you think Clowney goes? He's just trying to direct where you go today. That's all. I mean, Bill, we've talked about this stuff every day. I mean, and every day, I like your questions, but Clowney right now is linked to go to the West Coast. That there was a West Coast team talking to him. There were some articles out like 2 days ago. The Bears have not been mentioned.
No.
I really
They
don't.
should be, though.
Yeah,
How many fucking teams has Clowney played for already? Is he trying to collect every fucking trading card?
I mean, and let's be honest. Like these guys, none of these guys are probably signing for the next month or so, anyways. I mean, if they do, it's going to be some team that we didn't even hear they were talking to. That's part of the season we're in now, and like the rumors and speculation can be fun to talk about for a day or two, but not every day. If that makes sense. I do appreciate it, but it's just like
I think the Bears should be looking at Clowney, though. I think they should give him a call.
Here we go.
We talked about it on House Hall the other day.
What, you're not a fan? I mean, for $6-7 million, the dude can get you 7-8 sacks a season. Like,
Are you a fan of a player that played for 18 teams?
Hold on, let me cut this off real quick. If you guys would watch Hallis on Wednesdays or Sunday, we had like 20 minutes on just Clowney, right? So like we've talked about him ad nauseum. That's why I'm just kind of like, oh, Clowney again. And Woody kind of a little bit the same way. It's like we spent like 20 minutes talking about the guy where he could go. Joe, to your point, right now the Bears have like $6 million in cap. So are they going to pay Clowney, $7 or $8 million? Probably not. That's a very simplistic answer. Could they move cap around? Sure. But that's why they think Deo. That's what gets lost on people. They think Deo. The Bears think Deo is taking that step, and that's why they paid him $8 million. So
we were also reading about Chubb. So what's going on with Chubb?
Well, I mean, there's nothing in a couple days, but I mean, the last rumor I heard is that there's a basic framework in place and there's working the contract. How true is that? I don't know. I mean, how true is it that Sarah's JJ's baby's mama? That's true.
What are we going to say? Give her some time to plot and scheme, and that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was actually reading like an update saying that a lot of people think Bears are going after a running back. Some think they're still in the market for a DM, but they're really in the market for a safety, and that really might be where they go.
Commands while driving.
All right.
And then you get the whole Trey. Thank you, Bill, for bringing this up. The Trey Hendrickson thing. You know, about that and what it's going to cost. And, you know, Bears fans, you know, have been talking about it on Twitter. We talked about it on the Bears show a little bit. Like, you know, everyone is like, yeah, we'll give up the draft pick. That's fine. It's a contract. It's a contract. You know, look at Woody about, you know, made a mess in his car when I just said it.
Not about, he definitely did.
Clean up on aisle Woody.
Yeah. You know, that's the problem with Hendrickson. I think that's going to take a couple more weeks till we see any kind of even close to clarity on it. It's just, look, this is that part of year where it's slow news cycles for teams, so stuff is just going to be said so that we talk about it and click on it. And I don't mind playing some of that game because, well, like everyone else, we like to get viewers. I mean, sure, we can do some clickbait. I mean, Trey Henderson to the Bears, yeah, would love to see it. I don't know where the hell he's finding the money, though, for the contract. Now, for this year's contract, they could restructure some stuff, and they got some money for next year. But how does that mess up? Here's the thing you need to think about when you think about the North with these GMs. They've all been very careful with how they've been structuring their cap. What does trading for Henderson do? If you trade for Henderson, what does that do to your plan?
Speeds it up.
I know what my plan would be.
Financial plan about being able to retain players long term, like because of signing contracts. I mean, that may mess up money where we need it in other places. So there's that piece of it. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Hendrickson. He's an interesting topic that maybe we can talk about some more this week. Maybe we'll get some good, you know, breaking news over Memorial Day weekend. Because, like, yeah, he's another big interesting piece that's out there. And June 1st is coming. I think we might this year, unlike last year, see some things. Last year, June 1st came and it was kind of like wah wah wah, nothing happened. This year, there's a couple more guys because there are some teams who use June 1st designations already, and then they're like, well, we still got some guys we want to get rid of, but we can only get two pre-June 1st designations. So there might be some guys.
Come on, asshole. Turn, please. Thank you.
Woody, would you like to borrow some Isaac's lotion supply?
Wait,
Well, no, I don't need lotion. If we sign Henderson, I won't need lotion. Oh, trust me.
Bill brings up Bill has a great point, though. I think
He's more of a spit on it guy anyway.
We said this last year about some of these guys, right? And Bill's argument is like, but why does he just finish up the contract before crying about an extension and threatening not to play? Dude, that's everyone in the league now. Like, it used to be last year your contract was the contract year. Now the contract year is a year before your last year of a contract. How many of these guys, like, look at Brisker's a rare cat. Brisker, his contract expires at the end of the season. Does not have an extension. He's a rarity these days. Because if he didn't have the concussion problem last year, they would have inked him to an extension this offseason. Look at how teams are inking players, you know, for that final year. That's the way it works now. So you're like, okay, I got 1 year left. Let's start talking about my new deal. And if I'm not going to be here past this year, then, well, fuck, get me out of here. That's just kind of the trend league-wide.
Mm-hmm.
Go Pack, vote. Go Pack, go all day. Says Packers will be fourth in the division. Go Pack, go.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Wow.
definitely. Bears finishing in the basement again. They're finishing their engraving on the couch there.
You know what I like to say? All these Packer fans, you guys must have good jobs. You must be fucking professors since you know it all.
Well, look,
Yeah, man. Packers fans, a lot of big talk for finishing 1-5 in the division last year.
well, yeah, I mean,
Should have been 2-4.
Well, you know what? And what I like about Packer fans are they get all this talk about how great they are. Okay, in the last 40 years, you have 2 Super Bowls and a bunch of mediocrity. Yeah, you get to the playoffs, but you don't do shit when you get there. You're kind of
Just think about this, Ken. Rex Grossman has the same amount of.
It's still more Super Bowls than you.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know what though? Rex Grossman has the same number of NFC championships as Aaron Rodgers has.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say
How many Super Bowls
over
does Rex
30.
Grossman have? Asking for a
Hey,
friend.
I'm talking about the NFC champ. But see, I know. See, that's good. Keep talking.
Over
I got you.
30 seasons combined with 2 of the top 10 best quarterbacks of all time, and all you got was 2 Super Bowls out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Which look at 2 rings is 2 rings. Give them their credit there, but it's like Packer fans, like I said, fan logic is I'm going to apply logic to your team, but then when you apply that logic to my team, it doesn't count. That's just Packer fans for you. Look,
I mean, with the talent level that Rodgers had, I mean, like Rodgers, in my opinion, was the most physically talented quarterback to ever play the game. Like physically talented. He should have had 4 Super Bowls his damn self. Like if Brady can get 7, Rodgers should have had at least 3 or 4. That's just my opinion.
Well,
so,
I mean, look, I think Bill brings Bill. Look at I give Bill a little static on one question. Now he's bringing fire. Question to Ken: has Jordan Love ever won you a Super Bowl, and you think that team is great?
Jordan Love hasn't yet, but we've had multiple other quarterbacks that have.
So Favre has 1 ring. Rodgers has 1 ring. Okay, and Eli Manning has 2.
Ooh, not the Eli.
I went there, Joe. In fact, other quarterbacks.
I mean,
one ring.
if you really want to smoke Ken's ass, here's what you. Hey, hold on, Ken. If you really want to smoke Ken and the Packer fans' ass, here's what you say. Aaron Rodgers has the same number of Super Bowl rings as Trent Dilfer.
Oh.
Joe Flacco has rings.
Yeah, but one of those is a Hall of Fame quarterback. The other guy could have been a starter for the Bears.
Oh.
See, that's another typical Green Bay.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with the Bears?
Wait, it's like, shift the argument. I've lost the ring argument. Now I got to shift it to something else.
Right. Well, no, Trent Dilfer won because of their defense.
Tell me how many rings are in their case.
Trent Dilfer won because that's actually
the way Bears win Super Bowls too.
That's 100% fact. Trent Dilfer won because of their defense.
All this stuff we're talking.
Oh no, we never had Walter Payton or anything. Okay.
Since 1980, this division has won 3 rings. That's it. As a division, 3 rings. Really, to be honest, none of us have much room to talk. Okay.
Nope.
This is like 2 poor guys on the street arguing who has more peanuts in their bag. I mean, really?
Clean peanuts. Clean.
Yeah. The Packers are the best of the worst. That's what I always call them.
That's the best way to put it. They've been the best of the worst, and our division's been terrible. I mean, Detroit took them 30 years to figure out how to even get to a playoff game. Minnesota keeps finding they have good teams. Look at Minnesota, Chicago. Every couple of years has a good team, does something, and lets the fans down. Green Bay every year gets playoff and leaves early, but keeps the whole team flowing. And then they keep getting these late draft picks, and they can't really improve the team. So they've maintained to be able to be the best of the worst.
Detroit literally has 3 playoff wins in 66 years.
Tackles.
Literally.
That's the tackles.
That's consistent.
Yeah.
That's consistent. Yep.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, he's talking, and Bill brings right back. We're not talking about Favre, and I mean that he brings up a point. They've anointed Love to almost that same status as Favre and Rodgers, but dude, Love hasn't. He's a good quarterback. He's a decently good quarterback. He's not a stud. He hasn't proven he's a stud yet. This is his year to prove it, though.
I think he's cute, though.
Sarah's like, well, stuff.
Woody likes his baby dreads.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see Sarah's taking her new job seriously and that she's here every day. Love to see it. Guys, we're almost out of time. We got 30 seconds left. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll be back here Monday. Don't forget the shows over the weekend. We got the Packer Backer boys. I don't know what they're Packer Backer in on Friday nights, but they're doing that tonight.
They're backing it, all right.
Sunday. that open mic tomorrow night, Red Zone Rant Sunday. We will see you back here Monday morning. Everyone, have a great, great long weekend and be safe. And we'll see you back here Monday. Thank you, everyone, for being on the show. Have a great day.
Fuck it.
Bear down, blow pack, blow.